So both of our teams are out of the mix of the National Football League.
Yeah, well,
So
and have been for some time. Yes,
it was a
yeah.
tragic season.
A tragedy.
Of
A
course, ours.
tragedy.
I mean, you have a little bit more stability with your Cowboys. We are looking for a coach.
Yeah. So are we.
Um,
Yeah.
well, are you?
Defensive coordinator. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's not. I mean, it's not like your head coach. It's just like. But anyways, that's not what I'm
Yes.
here to talk about.
Yes. Okay.
I'm here to talk about. We have some interesting matchups going into the Super Bowl here or the
Oh yes.
playoffs.
Yes.
Do you have a gut feel now for who you think is going to be the victor? Are you rooting for a particular team? Are you
I've
rooting for the Eagles?
no. You're cruel to me early in the morning.
No, I'm not. I'm not.
No, 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 no.
Hey, I
Yeah,
mean,
it's fine. It's fine.
Steelers
It's
got in. I mean,
it's fine. It's fine. Browns fans going to be bitter. I get it. It's so
we're always
it's
bitter.
it's look. I have to root for the Bears right now because they're such an
Really?
underdog. Yeah, because they're such an underdog story. I really like. I really like their story, and I like. I'm not a big fan of their coach, but I am rooting for the Bears a little bit. And honestly, I think it's Rams to lose. I think it's the Rams to lose. I think Stafford's having a career year, and so I think it's theirs to lose.
Well, I picked the Rams. If as you remember, I picked the Rams to go to the Super Bowl. So
You did,
I
which I was like, I remember being incredulous at that,
you're like you're
yeah,
full of it. You're full of
I
but
know, I know.
here's my new, and I actually thought that I can't remember what my final two were. I think it was Bills Rams is what I had. So that's still in play. But honestly, the Bills are playing the Jags in Jacksonville. Jacksonville's the hottest team right
They're hot
now.
right now. Yeah, Trevor Lawrence is
And
playing well. Yeah,
nobody respects Trevor Lawrence like
no.
I think everyone believes that the Bills are going to come in there and run all over them.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, and I'm
Well, if
often
I'm
wrong.
podcast Jesus, he's football Jesus because he's got the hair, he's got everything going for him.
I'm actually thinking that the Jags might win this one.
Yeah, they
I'm
might.
actually thinking.
They
So
might.
I don't know, but I want to be happy and I want to watch these games, but I'm often sad because again, it's another postseason without my
Shoulda,
team.
coulda, woulda. That's the story of our lives.
So now I have to just go. Now we just have this stupid podcast to do.
Yeah.
Anyways,
We got that going for us.
we got this go. Yeah, absolutely. We got this, and we should be happy and grateful that we do.
Of course.
And now, for your listening pleasure, here's Polizzi and Rose, covering the week of media, marketing, and digital content news. Take it away, boys.
Well, hello, friends. Welcome to This Old Marketing, proudly brought to you by the HubSpot Podcast Network, the audio destination for business professionals. I'm Robert Rose, of course, and with me, as usual, is my pal, my colleague, and like me, an applicant for all the coaching jobs at our favorite football teams, Mr. Joe Polizzi.
Did you see the big scandal in Baltimore getting rid of Harbaugh?
I know, that's huge. That's a big one. So I don't understand why.
It makes no sense to me because I think he's a top 5 coach. I mean, hands down, 18 years of amazing success. But it was funny because I follow is it Adam Schefter? Yeah. Adam Schefter for ESPN. And he said that immediately upon getting fired, John Harbaugh's agent said that he received 7 phone calls from 7 teams about there are only 7 openings. So he received a phone call from everybody.
Yeah, for sure.
With an opening.
Oh, sure.
And honestly, we were talking about the Browns before. And by the way, to everyone listening, we're not going to talk about football this whole episode.
No, not at all.
It's okay.
Yeah.
We're just sort of kind of just holding on to everything that we have.
Yeah.
But it seems like Jimmy Haslam, who's the owner of the Cleveland Browns, is going to put together any kind of scenario that John Harbaugh wants because the Browns want him so bad.
It would be good.
Up a Cleveland Browns fan. He's got roots in this.
Great.
Yeah, he's from this area. I mean,
Oh, is
it's
he really? Oh, I
yeah,
didn't know
he
that. Yeah.
grew up a Cleveland Browns fan.
Okay.
So there's that whole
Giants want him
thing.
too. Yeah, the New York Giants want him too.
So
So
does that. Yeah, everybody wants him. I don't
yeah.
understand. Like, it's just so hard for me to understand. Like Baltimore, they had a lot of injuries this year. They honestly should have beat the Steelers in that last game, and they should be in the playoffs. This guy missed the kick at the
That
end.
game was crazy. That game was
So
crazy. Yeah.
and then you're gonna fire your coach. I mean, if the Browns had an 8-9 season like the Ravens did this year, we would have a parade.
Yeah.
There would be a parade down Euclid or East 9th in downtown Cleveland, and we would be celebrating our near 500 season.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But it didn't happen that way. It didn't happen that way.
No,
And
it
yeah, no, I think it's going to be really interesting to see where he ends up. I think the Browns would be a good spot for him. I think the Browns would be a good spot for him.
oh God, it would almost be a relief. But we didn't get rid of. I thought that the Browns were going to fire our general manager as well for making the worst trade in the history of the NFL, which is the Deshaun Watson, which continues to hang over us because we can't get any talent because
Right.
of the hundreds of millions of dollars over there. But anyways, let's
Yeah.
blame the coach.
Yeah.
Let's blame the coach,
Right.
and we'll go there
Yeah. There you
and not
go.
do anything. How
Yeah.
is your speaking of different things? How is
Yeah.
your new year going so far? Are you navigating? Your
Oh,
navigation
see,
is your word
yeah,
of the year,
okay.
right?
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
Are
Thank
you
you very much. Yeah.
successfully navigating through
So
whatever you
far,
need
so
to
good.
navigate
Yeah, no,
through?
it's been a good year so far. All 4 days of it, it's been, it's
Well, hey, we're
well, it's
recording this on the 8th or whatever. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah. It's
this
been
is
4 days. I mean, literally back to work week. I
oh,
mean,
back to work. I see.
I mean,
So the first and second, they don't count.
well, some of us do actually work for a living. So, others of us are men of leisure. So, um, this was the first back to work week for most people. And from what I'm
How
hearing
did it
from a lot of
feel?
people,
How does work feel? How
it's
do like Monday morning, like what is the feeling that you get when you have to go and work for
where you
somebody?
have to get on Zoom calls and actually do things and work in spreadsheets and stuff like, yeah, it's work.
That's so strange.
I know. It's a
It's
strange feeling for you.
I
Yeah.
don't
It's
get it.
a
I
strange.
work. I mean, I don't really call it work. It's joy. When I write my
Oh my God.
articles,
Do what you
it's
love and the money will
joyful.
come to you.
I'm great. I'm so grateful for all
Yeah.
the things that are happening. But
Yes. So, but anyway, yes, it's been good so far. It's good. I mean, other than the obvious everything else in the world that's going on right now. I mean, so I haven't captured any ships off the coast of California yet, or decided to run any foreign countries. So I got that going for me. Yeah, uh,
here's
it's
what I
just
don't.
it's a weird time right now. It's a very weird time.
So I'm starting to believe that there's different realities. Like everyone is kind of going through their different timeline, if you will, almost like the multiverse. Why is this one the one we get?
Yeah.
Like why? Like
Right.
I'm sure there's another reality
Yeah.
where this
Didn't happen. Yeah,
this
none of this.
weirdness is not happening.
Yeah.
Like it's
Or well, and there's yet another reality where the weirdness is happening, but somebody's doing something about it, right? It's like that's the part of the reality that I have such challenges with. It's sort of like, I mean, I bitch
you
a
mean
lot
no
about the
checks and balances? Is
right.
that what you
Right.
mean?
Yeah, there were no checks at all, right? I mean, it's like, an empty checkbook. And so it's like it's crazy to me how without naming names, cough the media, cough, and as well as Congress, cough Congress, is it's just like, huh? What do he gonna do what he's gonna do? What are you gonna do about it? Well, but bummer. We're gonna write another sternly worded letter, or the media's gonna go, well, what do you think they're gonna think about this one? You know, story at 6, Skip. Yeah, it's like I just
I
I get a little frustrated.
No, no, I'm with you. I think that's if in talking to the people that I talk to, they're at that same point where do we go from here, you know? It's just like it's just happening in front of us, and it's something more irrational every day. But the outrage isn't there anymore. We know these things are going to happen,
Right.
so
We've
it's
been
just like,
dulled. Yeah.
yeah, we've been dulled. It's like
yeah.
that's we
Yeah.
and that's I think that's the scariest thing. I was actually
Dulled into submission. Yeah.
it's interesting. I was talking to my youngest about what happened in Iraq and living through that
Yeah.
era where the United States made some improper decisions and did some horrible things. But I said at the time, we didn't know about a lot of that. Like, we didn't know until much later that these things were happening. And a lot of the things were covered up. And I
Sure.
said, so the feeling that I'm getting now is we're just
smoky.
not covering it up anymore.
Right.
We're just doing it.
That's right.
That's the weird thing.
That's the crazy thing about it, right? Is that, and that's why the reality feels so weird, is because in those days, there was at least the pretense of like a rational, this is a rational move. So you could go, okay, I can kind of see the, at least I don't agree with it, but I can see the reason, right? And then it turns out, the cover up is like, it's not true. There were no WMDs and all that kind of stuff. And you go, everybody's mad about it in hindsight, right? But this is like, no, we're going for the oil. we're doing this for the oil. I mean, there's not even a hint of a cover up. And then you've got Congress critters on TV going, we're not in it for the oil. And then he's literally on Air Force One.
He's going, no, we are. We absolutely
no. That's exactly why we're doing it. It's so.
Did you see the movie?
It's
Vice?
A Kafka movie.
You saw the movie Vice, right? About Dick Cheney.
Yeah.
By the way, really, really interesting portrayal. But that's what I keep thinking of, and that's the conversation I was having yesterday. Was they knew that they were doing some pretty horrible things.
Yeah,
and they were absolutely trying to cover it up.
That's right.
That is where, to our point, is they don't have, and I guess the good thing is they don't have to expend all that needless energy on covering it up, because nobody's
dulled
doing
into
anything
submission.
about it.
We've been dulled into submission. I'm gonna write a post.
It's like using a butter knife. Like, oh
yeah.
Anyway, speaking of happier things,
let's do a show before we work ourselves.
I can only imagine the emails that we'll get off of this opening. It's like, what's wrong with you two? It's like, I don't need to. I come to you two for an escape. Okay, here, you get your escape.
Here we go. Escape hatch has been opened. Yes, we have a fun show planned for you.
Let's go.
We're going to open with the job market actually does show signs of life. This is not a political thing, but it's actually, there's some interesting new data that shows the job market may actually be showing a little bit of signs of life, and we'll talk about that. Then we'll talk about living in slop. Adam Mosseri has basically said, yeah, AI slop, get used to it. You're going to live with it. We'll talk about that because there's some really interesting things that have gone on LinkedIn and some interesting stories that have happened there about where content is in the world of social media. And we'll talk about Uber becoming a mindset media company, and a wonderful interview, interesting interview with their head of advertising, Uber's head of advertising, multiple revenue models, people. And then we'll talk about the published press and their predictions about content creators in 2026, some really interesting ones. And one, by the way, shine my little medal, that agrees completely with one of the things that we talked about on our prediction show. So, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
There you go.
Then we'll get to our winners.
That's why we're talking about it. Yeah.
Oh no. Then we'll get to our winners and losers, where I will talk about a winner that is Equinox. Is it Equinox or Equinox? My wife always corrects me.
I always thought it was Equinox.
Equinox, fine. And when I say Equinox, my wife gets real mad.
Don't say that.
Yeah. So I'll say Equinox. And that basically the gym membership place, Equinox, how they've leaned into AI to basically tell a good story. And then your loser is, you're going to talk about the Nebula Wars and AI.
Yep.
And then we'll get to our rants and raves, where I'm going to talk a little bit about, I'm going to talk about Digiday and an article that they wrote about Accenture song. And mostly ranting against Accenture Song. But then your commentary is about the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, and I almost put that in as a story, but then I thought Joe's going to want to. He's going to want to rant on this.
Yeah, I want to do a commentary on it, and I think that there's a lot of confusion out there too. And I kind of wanted to. I did a lot of research on this, so
good.
I'm gonna break it down.
Break it down
for everyone.
He's going to break it down. So stay tuned.
Break it down so everyone knows what the heck's going on, because I see a lot of things out there that just are not true about this.
That's good. I'm glad. I'm glad you took that time, because I almost took that time, and then I thought, Joe's going to want to do this.
I took a lot of time. This is what I did. I might not be working a real job.
Too much time on my hands. Tick, 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 tick. Too much time on my hands.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, it's a great song. Styx. Yeah, there you go.
Styx, an underrated. I would say an underrated band of the.
I got to meet. 80s. I got to meet back in the day when I was doing music marketing stuff for Dwight Yoakam. I got to meet Tommy Shaw at a Christmas party.
Was he nice?
And hang out with Tommy Shaw. He was just the most lovely guy. He was so cool. He was super cool. And I was trying not to fanboy, right? Because I was such a huge fan.
It's so difficult.
And you're just trying to be cool, right? You're trying to be like, yeah, man, it's all good, but it's it's Tommy Shaw sitting right there. It's like, wow.
That's how I felt the one year when we had Bare Naked Ladies at Content Marketing World, and I'm like hanging with them, and I'm like, first of all, this is dumb. Like, why am I I standing here with these wonderful people? But the thing about Bare Naked Ladies is they're so nice. Of course, they're Canadian.
Sure.
They're
Cheap Trick too. Cheap Trick, when we got to hang out with Cheap Trick a little bit.
They're just nice.
Just nice people.
And it's almost like they're just happy to play the music. I mean, they're getting paid some money.
A lot of money. Yeah, good money. Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah.
It's almost like the same thing with you and John Cleese when you were hanging out with
John.
Who's the tallest 6'4" I've ever seen.
Yeah, he's a tall man. He's a tall man. William Shatner, lovely guy.
William Shatner was so funny to hang out with him for a while.
He was, because he was so curious. Who are you people?
I'll
never forget that.
We're standing out people because we're going through the run through and we're on the main stage, and he's looking at all the chairs, and he's like, "What is this?
What is this?
Marketing?"
Yeah.
And then when I realized, I'm like, you're doing your brown bag wine thing. You're kind of,
and he pitched that.
Marketing.
He pitched that to us. Yeah, he pitched that to us as a content marketing
You should
platform.
find a sponsor for that. Yeah. I mean, you'd be good. Anyway,
good
times.
Moving on with the show.
Okay.
All right. This is coming courtesy of Axios. The job market is now showing signs of life, says Axios in the headline. And the article opens up by saying the final months of 2025 offered plenty of reasons for labor market alarmism. Job creation slowed to a near halt. The unemployment rate edged to its highest level in 4 years. And the business news wires were chock-a-block. Oh, I love that he put that in there. Chock-a-block.
That's your word.
I know. I love
you
that
were
word.
The only person that used that word.
I know, right? With AI-inflected layoff announcements. That's just the perfect lead. It's just a wonderful lead. So anyway, the big picture is that the private sector data for December now points to some stabilization in demand for workers, and certainly suggests that labor demand isn't falling off any kind of cliff. Data further in the rearview mirror, government data for November points to fewer job openings and less hiring, though the layoff rate has really ticked down. In effect, job market slowed weakness through the fall before stabilizing and perhaps improving in December, pending the government's gold standard employee situation report this Friday. And I'm just going to call it right now. The government's report is not the gold standard anymore. That is just absolutely not the gold standard.
Thank you, Captain Obvious, for that one.
Yeah, exactly. Private employers added 41,000 jobs in December, said payroll processor ADP, a reversal from a loss of 29,000 positions in November. And the Institute for Supply Management index of activity at service businesses jumped 1.8% to 54.4 in December, fueled by a big surge in the employment sub-index, which rose 3 points, which is a lot of really weird jargony words to basically say, yeah, things ticked up a little bit. So what do you think this is? Is this real? Is this a phantom thing? Just Christmas hiring? What do you think?
I have a take. I will share it with you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Obi-Wan. Thank you, Obi-Wan. Yes.
I don't know some of these numbers. I really don't know what's real or not anymore, because so much of, especially you mentioned on the government side, we don't know what those numbers are. A lot of the services that provided those numbers are not doing the job that they were supposed to do for obvious reasons. We've talked about some of this, but I really think this is in anticipation of a gangbuster 26 year for profitability for these corporations, mid-size and large
lot of cash
corporations.
on hand. They got a lot.
Yeah.
Of
So
cash.
basically, and I wrote some of this down so people would know, because I think that a couple episodes ago I was talking about the big beautiful bill, and we were saying like what's in that. Specifically, what happens is 426, the permanent corporate tax rate goes from 35 to 21%. That's now permanent.
Yeah.
That's a significant difference there. You get more corporate expense write-offs, goes from $1.25 million to $2.5 million. Lower effective tax rate of lowest effective tax rate is 12%. Blah blah blah. A couple other things. Here's the deal. Let's just say that you're gonna get that 14% less in taxes from 1 year to the next year, and you're anticipating that as part of your business. Let's just say that you were you're a big business, big enterprise, and you did, let's say you're talking about the Googles of the world or the Apples. For every $10 billion in profit that they had in 25 for 26, they're going to have $1.4 billion more to work with. That's let's make it a lower number. Let's say it's 100 million. So I'm profiting 100 million. I'm a
1.4 million. Yeah.
1.14. No, 14 million.
14 million. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
The point is I believe these companies don't have to sweat over capacity of labor. And especially with this transition of, we don't know the efficiencies we're going to get in AI or not. They don't have 100%. To lay people. They don't have to lay people off, because they're not going to be financially taxed in 2026, and that gives a lot of breathing room. Now, that all sounds, I'm kind of talking about like with rose-colored glasses here, but we are paying for it in debt. Like, folks, we're at almost $39 trillion in debt in the United States. And we are paying for these corporate taxes with everyone else's dollars. And basically the future, unless we can figure out a way to magically disappear this debt, which is not going to happen anytime soon. So anyways, that's my take on, I don't know if you agree with that, but I feel that you got a lot of optimism going into 26 from mid-level and large enterprises, because they know they have a cushion because of this these tax decreases.
I don't know if you heard or not, but now we have like 3 billion more barrels of oil to sell. We have a lot of oil that we can sell now, so maybe that'll make up the difference in the.
You didn't have to go there. You didn't have to go.
I wanted to go there. I really wanted to go there.
You always want to go there. You always want to go there. That's why, folks, I'll be honest with you. When sometimes we like to promote our podcast on YouTube, and anytime we've talked about this a little bit before, anytime we mention anything around politics, we can't do it. They basically say our promotion is disapproved.
Yes,
which will happen this time as well. Actually, I'm not even going to try. I'm not even going to try to promote it.
Good. Well, then let's let it rip.
By the way, I should let you know, Robert, I haven't even talked to you about this. The last 4 episodes we've done have all been declined.
Really?
Yeah. And by the way, it's your fault.
I'm sure it's always my fault. I
don't
doubt it. I don't doubt it. I can't resist the jokes.
You always say the T word.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to. If you do, I can't. I'm done figuring it out. Like, we have to do a super clean episode for us to be able not to be considered.
This is the sacrifice we do for you folks, is that we're not promoting so that we can actually tell the truth.
I wish that you would run for office so that I could say, yes, we are going to do election advertising. Like, this is. Anyways, why don't you run for something?
I would be the worst. I would be the
No, you
worst
wouldn't.
I would be the worst politician in the history of politicians.
Could you imagine some of the you could you have your original music
What I should yeah, right.
that you're coming in with?
Me and
It'd be
Lila
great.
Hightower. Yeah, there you go.
Lila. How's Lila doing, by the way?
Lila does great.
Is it?
Lila's doing great. I'm still struggling with Google. I'm still really, really struggling with Google, and I haven't really put my foot on the gas until I figure that out. But boy, that Google
What, by
Music
the way,
and
just so everybody's
Google
I mean
channel
I
is
mean, some
tough.
people are new. By
Yeah.
the way, if you're listening for the first time, I totally apologize.
Yeah. This is not
But
the show you want to
Lila
introduce yourself.
Hightower, who's the artist that you created,
That's right.
where can we listen to this? Just so
You can listen to it on anywhere you get your
Lila
favorite
Hightower.
music.
Search Lila Hightower.
Yeah, on Spotify, on YouTube Music, on Apple Music, on everywhere. Funny enough, everywhere except the one place that all the amateur musicians say you should be, which is on SoundCloud. Which I don't see why I would be on SoundCloud, but I don't know.
We still get listeners on SoundCloud.
Nobody's on SoundCloud. Nobody listens on SoundCloud. Let's be honest.
We have like 3 people who religiously listen to us on SoundCloud. I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
That's why I keep that open.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well,
they're very determined people.
Okay, Dave. Yeah. All right. So anyway, So
do you have any more take on this?
I the only take I have on this is that I agree with you in the sense that I think 26 is going to be a frothy year, and mostly because of the elections. So I think it's going to be lots and lots of foam at the top of the on the top of that cocktail. I just think it's going to be really hard to really discern what is real and what is not. But because of that, I think we're in for let's call it an expansive year. And it's a good time to take advantage of that. Right. So basically preparing for whatever reality may come in 27 or 28. And so I think it's going to be good. I mean, obviously notwithstanding any like big surprises that happened in the year.
Yeah. Well, and by the way, it sounds like we're going to get a new Fed chair. I don't know when they're going to announce that, but
it'll be in March because
that Fed chair will be dovish. That Fed chair will be dovish, which means that the interest rates, which I believe are right now, I don't know what they're at, 3 and something or 4.
Yeah.
They're going to knock them way down. Like you're going to see more interest rate cuts, which means more liquidity.
We'll see about that. We'll see about that. You saw what the Fed did? We're all over the map today. You saw what the Fed did by preparing themselves, right? That the other, including, by the way, some of that are on the other side of the fence, they basically voted to say that they're not getting. They basically set themselves up for 2 more years, I think. So
I don't believe it.
Yeah, well,
there's no way.
Yeah,
and you hit the nail on the head. This is an election year, and right now, if one party has control, they're going to make this look so good going into elections, and they're trying to. And the one lever that they can't pull is interest rates.
Yeah, that's true.
Which they're already. I don't think we need to cut, personally.
Yeah,
but I think it's going to happen. And again, yes, it's a buoyant environment. For corporations, especially for super big oil companies.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go. Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly. I don't want to make light of it, but
yeah. All right, let's move quickly on to our next story here before we completely go off the rails, and we'll cover this quickly before moving on. This comes to us basically the Adam Mosseri, the head of Instagram, put up a Threads, which of course is related to Instagram, and he put up one of those notes, so it's almost like a blog post, and he talks a lot of what he calls his authenticity after abundance, and it's a little essay, if you will, about why we're still grappling with AI content, what is commonly known as AI slop, and he calls synthetic content. And basically, he says there's an abundance of it on all the channels, but including Instagram and Threads and all that sort of thing. And ostensibly, in his long little essay, basically says we have to live with it, and what are we going to do? And he's suggesting that as we've seen, I mean, it's like welcome to the party, Adam, that everybody that has spent any time in this is that, human fingerprint, the actual artistry, the actual humanity of content will be the more practical way to set yourself up as a creator or as someone who uses social media or any of these channels in the future. And as he says, in a world of infinite abundance and infinite doubt, the creators who can maintain trust and signal authenticity by being real, transparent, and consistent will stand out. To me, I mean, and it got a lot of traction, this post, but to me, it was like, oh, I'm so glad you've, 2023 called and wants their idea back. But I don't know if you thought differently about this.
Uh, I think that what it means is they're not going to police. I think that's the big conversation. They're not going to police AI content.
Yeah, basically, he's saying we give up, right? We're not going to try and figure this out.
Well, yes, and then what he's trying to say is that if you, as a human creator, don't find traction on Instagram or our other channels, it's your fault.
Right. That's right.
So he's pushing the blame and saying, hey, because he can come back and say, I told you so. You need to be more authentic.
Yeah.
You have to create more original content that you can be trusted for. And you can. So he's setting this up for it's just so interesting. And by the way, probably the exact right way to do it since they're not going to police it.
Sure. Well, it's the only way to do it. Ultimately,
it's like, hey, if you want to get found, this is how you're going to have to do it. You're going to have to create, it's interesting with some of these.
Well, this gets to your rant later, you know what I mean? Which is, what is authentic, right? Just because an AI engine creates a piece of content does not mean it's not authentic to the author of that is putting it out.
Yeah.
That, you know what I mean? It's like the expression of a piece of work, whether it's a piece of art. I had this long discussion about. I actually responded to another essay that was written over the holidays that our friend Ian Truscott sent to me, and talking about the idea of AI and AI slop and all of that, and ostensibly what it was written by a CEO of an AI company who was basically saying, look, AI is getting so good that it could and at some point will replace the human in terms of the level of creativity and storytelling and all the things that that we sort of right now are, and as the title of the essay was called in denial about.
Yeah.
And I said, well, that misses the point. It misses the whole point, which is it's not a could it question, it's a should it question. And that's what Adam is getting to here is that he knows he can't stop it. It's not a can it.
Nobody's stopping this train.
Right. It's a should it do it. And the only place that's ever going to happen is in the recognition in the audience, that what good is. And it doesn't matter at some point whether it's AI or human created, is that if the recognition by the audience, by the consumer of that piece of content is that it's good or authentic or quality, the origin of it won't matter. So it's the recognition of value that is important, not the creation of value that is important. So that's it's a really interesting time for us right now because, Chris Penn wrote something about this over the holidays as well, where he said basically, it's the famous, you're not in traffic, you are traffic, right? He was basically saying you're not trying to swim through AI slop, you are AI slop, right? It doesn't matter. It basically all of us are creating content in this noise.
Yep.
Mark Schaefer trotted out his content shock yet again, and it, there's a point. But it's the same thing that's been around forever, which is, yeah, we're all creating average content to some extent. It doesn't matter the origin of it.
I like the one line in here from it's not can you create anymore, it's can only you create this.
Yeah,
it's not a value. Yeah, I don't think it's a valuable or what is good content anymore. To your point, I think that you have this opportunity to build a relationship and only you can create this content. But that said, to your point, we're probably
But the
all
tool doesn't matter, right? The
we're
tool
all,
doesn't.
well, we're all using AI tools, and it's not. I think a lot of people are thinking, oh, it's human content versus AI content. Look,
not.
That ship has sailed.
Right.
If you are a human being, most like 99% of humans that are creating content right now are using AI tools to do it in one way or another. It could be in ideation or it could be in final execution. It is happening, folks.
It's how many grains of sand until you have a pile, right? How many words in your essay generated by AI until the thing is generated by AI? There's no definition of that. You cannot define that, literally.
I think the one thing that if you read this whole thing, we'll put it in the show notes. He basically said that there's platforms can right now detect some of the content. That's what I'm just saying what he's saying.
Yeah.
He's saying that it can detect some of it right now, but it will get to a point where it can't detect any of it. Right. Because there's like we are willingly going into this. It's not like, it's funny. We're not fighting this battle against robots, folks. There's no battle. We are just going that direction. We are willingly going this way.
Yeah, right
and it's
now,
happening, sweetheart.
Right now, things like Nano Banana put in data into the images that it generates, so that it can be detected by some tools, right? And so you can use Google to say, "Hey, is this image created by an AI?" But at some point that'll either go away or it won't be dependable, right? Because it'll be so much created in so many different ways. People will figure out a way to edit it out. People will figure out a way to mask it. That battle will be lost ultimately, and it won't matter.
So there you go. Yeah. Human content is becoming final.
Yeah. Which is not a bad thing. It's just,
no,
it's just a thing, right? It's just, we have to be good. I mean, it requires, the bar has gotten higher. That's all.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
Good.
Hey, speaking of the bar higher, speaking of AI content, speaking of segues, speaking of paying bills, we got some compliments, by the way. I got some nice emails.
You did. You got some really good comments on this.
Yeah, they were like, I don't know what you're talking about. You can't write hip hop lyrics. The hip hop lyrics were great. And I'm like, all right, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just making this up.
Aren't we all?
Yeah.
And here we go.
Yeah. This one goes out to all my creators, dreamers, podcasters in basements with champagne tastes and rhyming budgets. Yo, I came in the game with a mic and a plan. No budget, just hustle and bandwidth on demand. Now I'm flipping this script like it's Q2 stats. Got a branded crew neck and a stack of slacks. Yeah, I monetize the mundane. Flip pain to gain. Turn a soft red into hard rain. You can keep your fame, I got better skills. Like convincing grown folks to click HubSpot deals. Paying the bills. With a mic and a dream and a couple cheap thrills. Paying the bills. Yeah, I read that script, but I still got chills. Paying the bills. From the inbox pings to the branded spills. It ain't selling out, it's survival skills. This ain't a side hustle, fam, this is paying the bills. I used to post for the vibe, now I post for the rate. Every download I get, I calculate fate. Analytics in my stocking, sponsors in my ear. Got a segment going live by the end of the year. I pitch like a poet, spit truth like a monk. Got B2B bars with a trunk full of funk. And while the haters still playing unpaid chills, I'm warm in the glow with my monthly bills. Say what? Paying the bills. That's right. Yeah. Paying the bills. Feed the fam. Paying the bills. Run the scam. Just kidding. Paying the bills.
Cutting your sales cycle in half? I mean, come on, that sounds, pretty impossible. But that's exactly what Sandler Training did with HubSpot. What did they do specifically? Well, they used Breeze, HubSpot's AI tools, to tailor every customer interaction without losing their personal human touch. And the results? Well, the results were pretty incredible. Click-through rates jumped by 25%, qualified leads quadrupled, and people spent 3 times longer on their landing pages. That's making the impossible sound, pretty possible. Go to HubSpot.com to see how Breeze can help your business grow today. Do you want to create like the greats? Well, you should listen to Create Like the Greats, the podcast hosted by Ross Simmons. Every episode hosts an in-depth analysis of some of the greatest creations and creators of all time, along with a deep dive conversation on the creative process that went into building companies, brands, stories, and more. Audiences love Ross's voice, and he's very knowledgeable and has the ability to break down topics in a way that, well, is also practical. Ross also has put into practice the things he shares for at least a decade now. If you like learning about history, learning about the creative process, and are a laid-back person, you're going to like this podcast. Find Create the Greats wherever you follow your favorite pods.
Yeah. Paying the bills, feed the fam, paying the bills, run the scam, just kidding. It's a cold world out here with warm mics still. Do the math, baby. I'm just paying the bills.
Do you think we could? I don't know if we could pull off that dance together.
I couldn't. I definitely couldn't.
It looked easy to do, but then I'm like, I don't know.
I'm the worst at choreography. Like,
oh no.
I do yoga, and my yoga instructor will be like, "Okay, now we're going to go into this pose." And
downward dog.
It's not that I can't physically do either pose, but the transition to it is, to me, choreography. And I just can't. My body just doesn't work that way. I'm just not a good dancer.
Well, that's not going to work. If we're going to do a joint presentation, we have to do a dance.
Well, it just won't be that one. And maybe I'll. But it's a good one.
We'll do the
though.
Macarena or
Yeah,
something
it's a good
like
one,
that.
though. Yeah, it's a good one now.
Very good, very good. No, I love that. I don't know.
Fun. It's fun.
I like the whole thing, paying the bills and onto the, what do you say? Onto the scam. Just kidding.
Just kidding. Yeah, exactly. I wanted to do that.
So good.
I like to trying to get you to click on HubSpot deals.
deals and more deals. All right, what do we got next?
Right. Okay, so we got Uber is actually in the news, and this is coming to us courtesy of Ad Age. Fascinating story here. Not one that is not surprising per se, but actually you haven't really thought about it much. And that's why I was so fascinated with this story. The headline is Uber's ad chief, like advertising head, on launching a creative studio to become a mindset media company. And I thought that was just a really interesting way of putting part of their marketing strategy here. The article opens up by saying, when Christy Argillian, I'm going to guess is the pronunciation, but I might be getting that wrong, joined Uber at the end of 2024. Okay, so as global head of Uber advertising, one of her first moves was to come to CES as she began plotting how to build the rideshare and food delivery brand's nascent ad business. She's back in Vegas this week at CES, and of course, CES is happening this week. With 12 months of accomplishments under her belt, including formally launching the in-house creative studio in June that is seeking to woo brands interested in tapping into Uber's audience with digital and on-the-ground activations. Clients have included Estee Lauder, which partnered with Uber advertising during last year's Formula One race in Miami, in a deal that included giving Uber Premier riders gifts from the brands. Basically, the ad offering has been launched in 2022. It's now $1.5 billion in revenue.
That's crazy.
It's small compared to their $44 billion of total, but
profitable.
Yeah, but very profitable. I mean, that's just printing money, really. And now that she's launched this new creative studio where they're co-creating types of programs together, it reminds me very much of what the New York Times did, back in the day, what other media companies have done with varying degrees of success.
Crafted some of this.
Yeah, but the technology solution like Uber, you wouldn't expect necessarily to do this. And the interview is really just fascinating about how she is talking about they're really talking about making Uber a mindset media company with co-creating, which I love because it's part of the trends of what we're seeing with agencies, et cetera, really co-creating content, valuable experiences. They know the network, they know the audience, and they can do that across all of their different platforms.
Yep.
And basically monetizing, advertising as a way of doing that. And I think I just think it was almost my marketing winner this week, but it's just, I thought it was a big enough story that we should talk about it a little bit.
What I like is, because they have the distribution, they already lean toward, hey, we have this asset.
Yeah.
How do we generate revenue from it? And we've talked about this 1,000 times on this show, but not enough enterprises think about what space do we have, what assets do we have, and how can we monetize these in other ways. And we talked about this in Killing Marketing, but just look at, okay, what companies out there have space? FedEx, UPS are. I mean, the amount of revenue that they've been giving up over the last decade because they don't leverage the things that they are already doing in other ways for other reps. Like, oh no, we're a shipping company. Are you? No.
Yeah, right.
Yes, that's one of the things you do, but you could also generate a lot of other revenues. Well, in this case, Uber has that distribution, and then they're already saying, okay, we're going to create more distribution, more of these content assets so that we can monetize these in other ways. And how you can be a CMO today at a large brand and not look at it this way.
Yeah.
So I'm glad they are.
Yeah.
Uber's got a lot of potential. They're going to create so much more, many more revenue opportunities. And if you have this kind of, to your point, mindset here, I think they're going to do pretty well.
That's right. It's a page out of, to your point about profitability, it's a page out of Amazon's book, right? Which is, once you have scale to that level where you can attract a large enough audience that it becomes attractive to do a retail media network, which is really what we're talking about here. Yeah. They've added this sort of co-creation part of it, but otherwise it's just like selling ad space on the platform that people use every day.
Sure.
And then you say, okay, but that's just a page out of Amazon, where Amazon can basically either, you can look at it two ways: mitigate marketing expenses, right? Which is what they do with their whole Amazon Prime Video, which is a losing business. If you look at it just as a business model, it's a losing business, but it's not meant to be a winning, profitable business. It's meant to be, honestly, a revenue generator to pay for the marketing that they know that Amazon Prime members that also watch video spend twice as much on Amazon. So Uber can do a similar thing and just literally mitigate marketing expenses with this money, or they can actually make it even more profitable and basically be able to compete on price and other ways, because they've got other profitable revenue streams coming in that can actually subsidize some of the things that they want to do, where they need to be more competitive on price, et cetera, et cetera. It's just a brilliant strategy.
Well, one last thing on the subsidizing. That's a great point, because I've been listening to some podcasts that talk about Waymo and how Waymo's growing with the self-driving car. And this was out in Phoenix, I believe. And they're setting their prices so low because they're trying to get market share.
Yeah.
And somebody said that they had, I don't know, a 10-mile drive. It cost them like $2.
Yeah.
To go. Uber's got to deal with that. They're going to have to compete with that for a long.
Well, Uber's partnering with Waymo. Uber, there's a wonderful interview with.
I thought Uber was partnering with Tesla. Because
no,
Waymo has its own app.
They do, but they're using Uber is leveraging or is going to. I can't remember if they're doing it or they're
trying
going
to work on it. Okay.
Yeah, which is basically, Waymo needs access to a bigger network, right? And so what Uber's doing is using Waymo as a fleet.
Oh, interesting.
So one of the biggest new businesses, and Uber is just a fascinating company right now. And so one of the things that Uber is doing is understanding that you can create businesses within the Uber network. In other words, there are people now who are creating fleet services. They're buying up cars and creating fleet services that they then make a big deal with Uber for all their drivers. And so it's like a limo service, but you make a sort of an in aggregate deal with Uber, and you get some margin on that. It's a way for them to provide fleets of cars, some of them driverless, some of them not. Uber could partner with all of them. Uber can partner with Tesla.
I think that's
Waymo.
Probably what they probably what they want to do. Because I heard that Tesla and Uber have been in talks for a while.
Yes.
Because obviously, I mean, if you've been following the Tesla thing, Tesla's going, you could buy a Tesla, and this is not ready yet, but it will be. And you could say, oh, I'm done riding my Tesla for the day. I can go ahead and rent it out to Uber for the day, and they can go take rides and then come back when you're done. That's how Tesla's going to create such a fleet of cars, and that's why we're going to get 20% driverless cars in the next 5 years.
That's right.
Because of that type of thing that's going to happen.
Yeah, it's
nuts. Woo!
It's amazing.
Yeah,
it's really amazing. And we'll see who who the winners and losers are there. Speaking of which, should we jump to winners and losers?
I think we should. I think
so
that would be prudent.
Prudent at this juncture. Prudent. Remember that goes back to the Iraq War and all that stuff.
At this juncture,
don't be prudent at just juncture.
Oh, that's a good.
I used to do a pretty good Bush. Yeah,
that's a pretty good. That's a pretty.
I know where you went. Our 17-year-old.
I'm sorry.
No,
the way you said that.
Yeah, I know. Good Lord.
I was just listening to the word.
Okay. Let's get to the winners and losers, where Joe and I pick a winner from the last week of marketing or a loser from the last week of marketing.
Okay.
Do you want to go first?
Yes. Why don't you let me go first?
Loser,
since I'm totally under control. So my marketing winner, I don't know if you saw this, or my marketing loser, I'm sorry, is the Nebula Awards. Are you familiar with the Nebula Awards?
I am 100% familiar with it. Yes.
Okay. So I was not. So they run the Science Fiction and Fantasy Writers Association Awards. And I guess it's considered a very prestigious awards program in science fiction and fantasy writing. So last month, they came out with an announcement, and they said that any work using generative AI at any point in the writing process, even for ideation or any kind of draft, makes your work completely ineligible for nomination. So first of all, I get the instinct that they want to protect writers, but I think this is very short-sighted. I believe they've confused tool usage with authorship. We talked about this earlier in the show. So instead of creating a thoughtful framework and really thinking through some issues and what's too much AI and what this means, and we're not uploading 12 AI books to Amazon every day and that kind of thing, they went for the absolute ban.
Right.
That I don't know how they're going to enforce.
How do you adjudicate that? Right. That's my question. Yeah.
So I think it's pretty strange, especially for an organization that's built around imagining what the future is going to be. So we're going to freeze ourselves in the past. We don't understand how we can use these tools. So we're just going to say we're done. And I think that they made their organization irrelevant by doing this. I think you're going to see a lot of people just go somewhere else to get their work done because it is part.
Well, I think you're going to see a lot of the old school. I think you're going to see a lot of the old school applaud this.
I think
because
so
they
too.
see the threat. They see the threat. They see AI as a threat. And I think you're going to see a lot of sort of the sort of, current class, let's call it, of writers that will applaud this, and it'll last for some time. But I have every anticipation that at some point they'll go, okay, we give up. Basically,
of course, because you're going to get way less submissions.
Yeah, well, or honestly, it'll get to the point where they're like, we can't, somebody will get caught, and they'll win, and they'll say, but I used some AI to do this. Something will happen where it's an impossibility to be able to adjudicate. You just can't. There's no way to grade this, right? And so what are they going to look for? M dashes, right? It's just a silly thing. And honestly, this may be a marketing idea, right? This is, put the ban out there, make it a marketing thing. And then at some point go, okay, well, we're going to actually let it in and sort of make yourself feel like you're doing something futuristic, right? There's a lot that could be going on here.
I guess there could be, but I wouldn't read too much into it. I think it was just a knee-jerk reaction. Just short-sighted. Very short-sighted. I do agree that they're going to have to come back out to the point we've talked about for the whole show.
Yeah,
I mean this
100%.
is the world. This is the world we live in right now, folks.
That's right.
So
that's right.
Anyways, what do you got?
I have a winner actually, and this the link we'll put in the show notes is to the Wall Street Journal. The headline is basically why Equinox leaned on AI slop in its New Year's ad campaign, and the ad that they show in the
I'll bring it up here
it's
so people
so
can see
good.
it.
It's just so it's very funny. It's very funny, and very clever, by the way. And I'm sure 100% created by a human in concept. And then they used AI to sort of do something
That's so funny.
great. It's just good. It's actually leaning into the whole AI thing, which I loved about that, which is basically leaning into the authenticity of who they are, which is fantastic. It's not about faking it. It's about basically being real. And, I mean, you can argue whether Equinox as a gym really lives up to this brand or not, but that's a different conversation. But as an ad campaign, I absolutely adored it. I thought it was a big winner of leaning into using AI to do something humorous it's not dissimilar from how we use AI to do our advertising. In a way, basically leaning into the silliness and the ridiculousness of what it is, and not trying to fool anybody, but basically saying, look, it's, it question everything, as their headline goes. So I loved it as a winner.
Yeah, I thought they did a great job with it.
Yeah.
Really, really good stuff. So
yeah.
Excellent. You
All right.
don't usually do a marketing winner. So
I know. Well, but now we'll get to our rants and raves. Yeah. We'll rant a little bit. So this is our rants and rave section, where Joe and I go off on a little bit of a rant or a little bit of a rave over something. And your commentary, I can't. Oh, no, I'm going to go first, because I want to save yours. Yours is really, really great. Right. And I want to save it for last. So mine is. Oh, it's quick. I promise. It's me being bitter again about how large consulting firms, large agencies, which you've heard me rant on this show so many times. It's probably nauseating at this point, but I just, so the article that really grinds my gears, as it were, comes from Digiday, a publication that I honestly really like. For the most part, I think their thinking is great. I think their articles are generally, really good. But this one, I don't know whether they just needed 1,500 words and didn't have 1,500 words, or something. Basically, the headline here is this is what the future will look like. Accenture Song, which is, of course, the big agency within Accenture. And Accenture is huge. I mean, Accenture rivals the WPPs and Omnicoms and all of them in terms of size. And the article opens by saying it's nearly after a decade after acquiring agencies, Accenture's marketing arm is now comparable to the largest ad agency holdcos, and is still aggressively expanding while sitting outside many of the structural constraints that define them. Ostensibly, this then goes on for another 1,000 or so words as a giant press release for Accenture. It's just basically says, they interview, I think it's the head of marketing or somebody, very much the head of something for Accenture Song, talking about how they are moving upstream, which is ostensibly saying that they're connecting the ad agency marketing business with their business consulting and technology consulting. And they're, he says the ridiculous thing that, most of the consulting companies out there say, which is every company's a tech company now. No, that's bullshit. That's not true. But it's also sort of the story that the big companies want to tell you, the big consulting, the big agency, big time agencies and big time consulting want to convince CEOs at organizations that it all needs to connect together in a way that, only an agency the size of Accenture Song or Accenture even full stop, or, an Omnicom or somebody like that, WPP can connect. Right. So that's the story here. It smells of desperation, because we've seen the trend over the last 6, 8, 12, maybe even 18 months that the holding companies are losing power, not gaining power in terms of influence within companies. And this smell, this smells so much like a inside press release sort of, hey, can you do me a favor and write us an article about how awesome we are as Accenture? I want my article for Seventh Bear. I want Digiday to help me, come interview me and talk about why, small training and consulting agencies are the future of the world, and how we connect, because we can go in and be much more fluid and bring in expertise at a much lower cost. And I want them to talk to me about that. Why don't I get my article? You know, and I know it sounds like I'm whining, and I am. I'm whining because it's just really annoying that a magazine like Digiday is giving space to this, and it's not noted as sort of a, you know, a native advertising piece. It's not, you know, it's in their evolving agencies section, which makes it feel like it's some sort of, you know, arbitrary, you know, and sort of authentic
But
piece,
this
and
is
it's
not a
just not.
paid piece.
This is not a paid piece.
That we can tell.
Well, it's not paid. It's not noted as paid. They might have
Yeah.
paid, but it's certainly not noted as such. And it's just annoying. And so that's why I'm ranting on it.
All right. That's, I can't, I'm looking for like, this is a paid
Yeah.
piece.
And it's not there. It's in their evolving agency section, which is
I can't see so good.
yeah. Yeah. Anyway.
Okay. Nah, I'm with you. I hear you. It is kind of as the picture that they have of the shark and the minnow, whatever. It is kind of fishy.
Which is so clearly AI generated in the
It's kind of fishy.
Yeah.
All right. You want me to talk through my
my
commentary? My commentary.
I see you. I see
Here's
you.
some-
I
yeah,
see what you did there.
All right. So I spent a good chunk of time this morning actually going through this because I was a little concerned because in my Facebook page and some other things that I follow, people were talking about PBS shutting down. And I'm like, I don't think that's right. So let's just go through this. PBS is not shutting down, and I'll put a link in the show notes. It's the Corporation for Public Broadcasting is winding down. And the Corporation for Public Broadcasting was the pass-through arm, let's say, of federal funding. And they took the federal funding and then they put this out to all the affiliates of the different PBS stations. Now that federal money is gone, it has been cut by the current administration, but PBS itself will survive, and it's going to keep producing national programming, as far as I can tell, just fine. Now, where this hurts is, from what I can tell, it'll be at the local level, like large city stations, LA PBS. When you've got New York PBS, Chicago, they have about 15% of their funding comes through these sources. They can fill that in with other things that they do. But for the rural and the small market stations, it seems like the CPB money can be 20 to 40% of what their funding is, which I'm concerned that these rural markets might get some cutbacks, or they might even disappear because they might not be able to make that up in private funding or member giving or whatever. So long term, I'm trying to think what this does. It probably reshapes PBS into a more urban centric network. Probably fewer local voices, I think. Is that. And by the way, we've talked about this on the news deserts that we have.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't cover it, but the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette is stopping their print publication.
Yeah.
I mean, Pittsburgh is it's not a New York or a Chicago, but it's a good sized city. So they're going away. And I think that right now PBS is safe. You know, if you have your kids watch Sesame Street, I grew up watching Sesame Street, you're going to be okay. But I think this does mean some change is coming. I don't know what your take is on it, but I wanted to fill that in because I saw at least 3 people on my Facebook page say, "Oh my God, PBS is getting killed." It's not.
No.
Corporation for Public Broadcasting is not getting. There's no more federal funding, so there's no more need for the Corporation for Public Broadcasting.
But that's the key, right? Because the whole point of the Corporation for Public Broadcasting was to manage the money.
That's right.
Basically, manage
no more money.
They were like the funding source, and not the source, but they were the funding manager.
They were the arm that funds all the
and making sure that
making
sure that the money was accounted for and all of that. So that's the distribution. So you think of them a little bit like a private equity organization or a venture firm, if you will, where they're sort of doling out money, both from private sources, like big donations from private donors, as well as the government, and then moving that money out to the various places. And yeah, you're right. There's no need for them to do that anymore, because with no government funds, there's no need to manage it well, right? You know what I mean? So it's like they basically self-recognized, or were self-aware enough to go, yeah, you don't need us anymore. So we're just going to dissolve the thing until such time that, it becomes relevant or important again. So,
But you know what? I guess the one thing that I learned off of this process is because I saw somebody's post in particular that said, "Oh my God, I grew up with Sesame Street and it's not going to be a." And I'm like, what? And then I started doing research on it.
yeah,
And, of course, we just talked about this. I guess what I would say, and this goes for any side that you're on, before you go sharing something and you make an opinion and you get out there and then a bunch of people go and spread it on, and it's wrong. Just take a second.
just take a minute.
Just take
Yeah.
a minute
Yeah. Right.
and check if you're right. Everybody wants to be certain. It's like, oh, I'm certain. You know what? It's okay to say, I don't know, and to take a breather and then do a little bit of research on it.
Right.
Come on.
Right. It's okay. By the way, and it's okay not to assume the worst, and it's okay to assume it's not the best. Right. I mean, it's like we're
okay
seeing
it on both sides. And both
100%
sides
yes.
are to blame for this. Like you have the far right and the far left. They're doing the same things. They're like, oh my God, everything's wrong. The world's coming to an end and everything's roses.
But we live in the middle, folks. Yes. I will throw one group under the bus, which is right now the state of mainstream media. And when I say mainstream media, I mean mostly linear television and mostly news outlets that are television focused. CNN, CBS, ABC, NBC, all of the sort of mainstream news outlets that are focused, who are just in ever increasing ways getting it wrong, completely ignoring the whole point of the story or the question. Or, and I've been ranting on this on Threads, but basically there are so many of these mainstream outlets that are just not going the step deeper that they used to go. It's like, just ask the question, just what are you talking about? Letting him get away with that. What are you doing? Like what, or in this particular, you're getting it wrong. It happened during, we're marking, I would say, the 1-year anniversary. This time last year, Los Angeles was on fire, right? And I ranted at that time about how the news media was getting it all wrong, right? Yep. They were just not spending the time to get it because they were catastrophizing everything. And basically they were getting so much of it wrong that I was having people actually call me worried, right? It's like, no, they're getting it wrong. But now they're doing specials and, 1-year things and they're getting it wrong again, right? And it's just, yep. With what's going on, the legislation that's happening, all this kind of stuff, there's just all this sort of FUD going around and getting it wrong. And it's just, it's for people, yes, you don't have any excuse, but for mainstream media, you really don't have any excuse.
I just love to see more of, here's what we know is happening for
that's
sure.
Right.
Like here's but we don't
but that
know.
That doesn't get clicks.
We don't know what this means yet. Well, that's the thing. It's like to your fire. It's like they were doing like, here's fire, and here's what it means.
Right.
Like, we don't know that. How do you go from this to that so quickly?
That's right.
We don't know what these things mean. It's okay to say, I don't know yet.
That's right.
Like give ourselves a little bit of permission.
Did you see
a little bit curious about it? I'm not sure. Maybe I should.
Did you see Jon Stewart?
Research.
Did you see Jon Stewart this week?
No.
He put out a call to the mainstream media. It was so good. He basically said, look, just quick note to the mainstream media. No more like worrying or wondering or questioning what MAGA is going to think about what he's doing. And then he plays this sort of a bunch of clips of all the mainstream media goes, what is MAGA going to think about that? What is MAGA going to think about that? Are they finally going to break? Are they It's like, they're not. No. They're not going to break. It is just assume that they're not going to break, that they're going to not care about this, whatever he does. Right. So it's like, okay.
It's like the one, I can't remember the person, but he was running for a major office somewhere and was found guilty of murder.
Yeah.
And it was open and shut, absolutely murdered this person and still got 30% of the vote.
Yeah. Right.
So that's a truth.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah.
All
anyway,
right. But what do you got?
I got work. I got a lot of work.
Work.
It's all good. Back to work. Yeah. Back to work. It's all good. I'm not complaining one little bit.
Yeah. So good.
You're off.
Well, next week I'm taking some time off. We're going
to do a special episode next week. It's going to be great.
Special episode, but I'm going on a very brief cruise with some family.
Okay.
And I'm in charge of I told you before, of some of
the
travel and all the things, and making sure everybody's got the boarding pass and the checked in and whatever. So hopefully I won't make a mistake and people will be somewhat happy. It's a thankless job though, Robert. I'm
sure. I'm sure it reminds you of actually when you used to work for a living.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Exactly. I don't care for it. I don't care for it at all. Yeah. Get it?
All right.
Sign
us off.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Welcome back. We're back in. I don't know how much we're going to talk about football or politics or anything like that in the future, but bear with us. We're having fun. We will be back next week with a special episode, and we're going to talk about some fun stuff. So you'll want to be tuning in for that. And until we see you again next week, of course, remember, it's your story to tell. Tell it well. We'll see you next week on This Old Marketing. Hey, thanks a lot for making it this far in this week's episode, and thank you all for being a part of This Old Marketing. You can check out all the show notes of what we talked about today at thisoldmarketing.com, and it's also where you can leave us a review or a voicemail. We need those reviews and comments on whichever platform you follow us on. And if you haven't followed the podcast, please go do that and make sure you catch the latest and greatest episodes every Friday morning. We're on Apple and Spotify and all your other favorite podcatchers, of course, but we'd love it if you went over and subscribe to us on YouTube. That's right, YouTube. youtube.com/@thisoldmarketing. We'll see you again next week, folks, with another episode of This Old Marketing.